All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy belated Easter. We went on a little hiatus because we were all really busy and possibly lazy, but we're back. Welcome.
We're back. Feels good.
It was a bit of an awkward introduction, huh?
Nah, I don't know. What's more awkward, the fact that we haven't kept up with this in 2 weeks and now we're shamefully coming back?
Yeah, probably. It's about consistency, everybody. If you do the same thing over and over again, a lot of times, more than likely, you'll probably make some progress with it. I have on shorts right now, so everybody's gonna see my thighs. Been working real hard on them, as you can see.
You look like a poodle.
Doing lots of squats. I look like a poodle.
You look like a short-haired poodle.
Is that because my legs are small?
No, it's just because your hair is like golden like a poodle.
Do poodles have golden hair?
I don't know. Fancy poodles.
I'm a fancy poodle.
Fancy poodle.
I'm doing these AMRAP workouts all the time like a madman, so I'm hoping that the thousands of squats I do over the week just give me bodybuilder legs.
I did it. What were you gonna say?
Nah, go for it. It's all good.
I did 100 squats today, and it was just like, wow. I need to get back to working out consistently.
Why did that hurt?
It didn't hurt. I was just like, damn, I'm tired after 100 squats. Just like body weight squats.
That's the funny thing. Like, I was looking at Mike Tyson's body weight workout when he was in prison, or whatever workout he was doing with just his body weight.
Mm-hmm.
Dude did like 2,000 squats a day. And like, I'm sore just doing like 200 squats in one day, and then like taking a break for like several days and then going back to it. But if you're doing like 2,000 squats a day, how the fuck are your quads not sore as hell the next day?
He was doing 2,000 a day?
2,000. He was doing like 2,000 squats, like 3,000 crunches, like 500 push-ups, 500 bench dips.
My God.
Every single day. Running for like 2 hours. Boxing.
Dude, he had the thickest, like his neck was bigger than his head.
Oh yeah, he had a real big neck.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's like the sign of like a man. Like if you got a thick neck, like it doesn't matter if you're like jacked from like the neck down.
Yeah.
Like if you're just jacked, but then you got this little pencil neck, like something's wrong.
Right? Like if you got that thick neck, you like more likely just like carnivorous, just like meant to be in the apocalypto times. Is that am I thinking of the right movie?
I think you're tired, but it's okay.
Is it Apocalypse Now? No,
it's Apocalypto.
Yeah,
But they all had skinny necks too.
Oh, there was one angry dude. I remember he was chasing the dude. He had
a big neck.
He had a thick neck. He was one of those Mayan dudes, just like killing people on the
with the spears and shit. He's a dude with a thick neck.
Yeah.
You know who's got a thick neck? Tom Hardy. Giant, monstrous traps.
He used to be I saw this interview he was doing. It looked like some British television show, but he was just the skinniest thing, dude.
Yeah, I saw this video. They were trying to explain, like, they thought he was on some kind of steroid or performance-enhancing drug.
Oh.
Like, there's this guy, not trying to shout him out, but it's an interesting channel.
Shout out to More Plates, More Dates.
Exactly, that's who it is. Like, he breaks down, like, the steroid cycles of actors and athletes, and he seems like the type of person, like, he uses the correct terminology to, like, you know, come off as someone who would seem credible for, you know, explaining whether or not these people are on steroids or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's like one of those things you watch if you have nothing better to do. Like, I'll end up watching, like, 2 of his videos, and I'm like, why the fuck do I care if this person's on steroids?
It's like, I feel like he puts the science out there in, like, the most, what the knowledgeable way.
That was a
Like,
long pause, dude.
Dude, I'm tired. If anybody doesn't know, I work night shifts, so I'm here for entertainment purposes.
You're here to talk about funny stories and enlighten us with your perspectives on life.
Here's one thing I wanted to address. This is one thing that's been on my mind since the last 2 podcasts we've done. I'm not here to glorify drugs. I don't think like if it came across in my stories that I'm glorifying it all, like nah, like you do what you think is right for yourself, right? These are just stories of times where I didn't even know myself yet, and I just happened to stumble upon this substance that like brought me to a place that like I think I'm finding more comfort in now, like my imagination. You know?
Yeah. You're just a kid. You're still a kid.
I'm about to be 25-year-old kid.
Does that scare you?
That scares the shit out of me, dude. I'm 25 and what have I done?
You're doing this podcast.
I'm doing this podcast.
You're trying to get your name out there. You're trying to get...
I've been on a houseboat.
Yeah, you've been on a houseboat. You've done a lot of drugs. Gotta talk about these experiences so that you can get those YouTube views, get that Lamborghini.
All for the clout.
All for the clout.
Jesus Murphy.
Can become social media famous.
I just want to get sponsored by like Subway or something so I can get... I watched Happy Gilmore the other day, and you know how he gets sponsored by Subway and he gets free footlongs for life. Like that just seems
That's
awesome.
That's your end goal.
I would go there every day before work, dude. Get like footlong, maybe 2 footlongs if I'm really hungry that day. Maybe I did 100 squats that day.
You would deserve 2 footlongs.
Exactly.
Maybe. Did you hear that like Subway, like their meat apparently isn't like very good quality meat?
I've heard that. I still don't care, dude.
You still don't care.
I don't care, man.
3 footlongs for life. I mean, that's not...
Like, if I like, ignorance is bliss. If I don't know it and it still tastes good, I'm probably gonna go for it.
That's probably why you did drugs. It made me feel good. I don't know what's in it.
Sometimes it didn't even make me feel good. I was just like, I feel like I was trying to fill this this mentality I thought I had, you know. Like,
Oh, you're a badass.
I was a little badass, but I don't think that ever fit really well.
I mean, you know, there's some people, I guess. I don't know. I guess it really depends on like what your like definition of a badass is. Like, what do you think a badass is supposed to be? Is it someone that does drugs and like fucks around, or is it like a Navy SEAL? Is it Vladimir Putin?
I think like a badass is more of like a mindset, like, okay, maybe like I'm not set to everybody's like temperature, right? But I still have common ground. I'm still able to like communicate, but at the same time you're putting out that like I don't give a fuck vibe, you know? But I care too much to give out that vibe. I think if it came to it, like, I would want to get to know somebody more than I would just outright start breaking them down, you know?
Okay.
Like, analytically, because I read this book, shout out to Jolene Demetrius. She wrote a book, I think it was like 1998, it was called Reading People. And then I just like thought about it, like it was too much for me almost. I was like, God damn, people really go through this like every day. But one of the things she had in the book was called SPEED, which I think stands for, it's like an acronym that stands for scan, parry, enlarge, evaluate, and determine. And like, I feel like that sense of me, at least in my life, has always been very present. Like, I've been able to pick up on good and bad situations. Sometimes I didn't always make the right decision, but I thought that was really interesting. Like, but some people have that mentality, like, I think like a lot of New Yorkers probably have this mentality where they're just like, fuck everybody else, I got my own shit.
Yeah, because you gotta get through like you gotta get to the other side of town to go to your job, and there's like fucking hours worth of traffic and human shit everywhere, and people burning down buildings and fucking people shoving you, and it's just nasty. I've never been to New York, so I can't say, but from what I've heard, not the most pleasant things.
Right.
I am impressed that you were able to remember what that full acronym was.
I think I got it right. I'm a little like, I know I got the scan, parry, enlarge, but I think it's evaluate is the second E, and then the determine or decide. Decide. It's not determine. It's decide.
Okay.
Because you're going to conclusion.
I wouldn't know. We need like a third person to just like be on a computer and Google all this shit. See if we're talking about the truth before people come out and say we're a bunch of liars and frauds and we're fucking the world up.
Dude, whatever. Fuck them.
I'm
just here to talk about shit, dude.
The only thing they can complain about is that I'm showing too much skin right now. Because I'm white as hell, and I'm sure you're getting a glare from like how like pearly white my legs are.
I mean, to be fair, it's been like the warmest here it's been in like a couple months for sure.
It has been. It's been like super cold. I went to Seattle, and like even being in the 50s, it felt cold. So cold. But Seattle is actually, I was only there for a day, but I was surprised that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I thought I was gonna get there and there were gonna be like all these like, you know, depressed theater kids like breaking into stores and setting shit on fire. You know, all the people that live in the parents' basements and don't do anything. But nah, the only thing that was weird was I saw my girlfriend like made a joke. We were eating this corn dog, and like I dropped a bit of the corn dog, and she made this joke. She was like, you know that joke that people make is like, oh, this, you know, like it, like how many starving kids would eat what you just dropped, you know? It's kind of a fucked up joke, but it's like, it's not really, like, it's just funny, you know? Like, it's just a funny joke. Like, it's like, oh, you're killing starving children. And this dude was in this car, and he came out and he was like, that's not funny. I was a starving child. And it's like, dude, okay, I understand, but like, fuck off. Like, you're not a part of this conversation. Like, just go. And then this homeless person like came up to us and was like, give us a quarter. Give me a quarter. Give me a quarter. I want money. I'm hungry. Give me money. Like, very demanding. And then there was this other woman, like this tiny little woman, who came up to us, and she sounded like a motorboat. Like, no, not a motorboat. She sounded like one of those like one of those buoys in the water. She was just like,
It's a nice visual.
yeah, give me a quarter.
Not her making that sound, but a buoy floating in the water. That's
right. I
make
her sound more appealing than she actually was, but
like that image of her doing it kind of scares me.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle was really nice, though. I like it. The streets are weird. You've got all these one-ways and shit. Like, half the city has just one-way streets, and it's like whoever designed god damn it. Whoever designed like the streets in Seattle was clearly on some kind of drug or just did not give a flying fuck.
Oh yeah, they got the fucking ramps going this way, and then another ramp just barely like coming over that one.
Yeah, like,
and then like 6 more on top of it.
Yeah, like if you want to get from point A to point B, you gotta do a circle and then a square and then a triangle and then up and over the bridge, drive through the building, go through some trees.
It is a maze, to say the least.
The only thing that was weird about Seattle was how many homeless people were there. Other than that, it was a great time. I had a great time. It was really fun, you know, going to these restaurants, walking around, going to the farmer's market. But the homeless problem is a real problem. And it's weird because, like, I understand that people want to, like, I feel like people simplify homelessness. Like, they say it's, like, you're either, like, you're too, like, you know, like, lovey-dovey about it. Like, you're like, let them be wherever they want. Or you're like, just get him a job. He'll get off the street. Give him a job. And it's like, but it's not that simple because, like, I went to the bathroom and there was a homeless dude in there. Smelled like shit, first of all. Like, he smelled like shit, cum, and piss. Like, all three of them combined. And BO, forgot about that. And he was just laughing his ass off in the bathroom. And there's like a dad with a kid who's like trying to get his son to go to the stall and probably take a shit, but he can't because here's this homeless dude creeping over the stall, like looking at his kid and laughing. And he smells like piss and shit and video, and it's just like, you can't, that person's not gonna be well suited for like a job, like let alone like something simple like working in like a restaurant or something, which is not simple, but like,
well, he's gotta learn the sanitary. He's gotta learn how to sanitize first, bro. He sounds like he was making messes.
Probably. He's probably just living in that bathroom, or he was trying to like just stay in there for as long as he could. But the thing that I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I said that working in a restaurant is simple. It's not simple. I'm just saying, like, in terms of getting a job, it's gonna be easier to get a job like that than like work at Amazon, for instance, right?
Right.
But like, that dude's not gonna be suited for like a position in the workplace. Like, what the dude probably doesn't even know where he is half the time or where he's gonna stay. Like, he's probably got like some sort of like, you know, mental disorder, or he's on drugs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you can't just simply integrate these people into like, you know, the workplace environment, but you also don't want them just like hanging out in stalls and creeping out like some dude's son, or even the dude himself. Like, you don't want that. So like, what do? You know?
You get rich off of Bitcoin and buying 76 acres of land.
Is that just
I read this the other day. Some Bitcoiner who made millions of dollars off of it or something crazy. Who knows? Maybe I got, what's that when you get, did I get goated? Did somebody goat me? Is that what it is?
I don't know. That's why we need the third person.
Not from you remember Waiting, the movie Waiting? Not goated like that.
Oh, like that movie Waiting. Yeah, that movie, that's a gross movie. It's pretty funny.
That's a great movie.
It's funny. Yeah.
She picks straight up straw wrappers out of her bush in the very end of the movie.
That was so gross.
That was the scene right there.
That like sums up the movie right there. You want to...
Greatness.
There's a movie called Waiting. It's got, what's his name, Ryan Reynolds in it,
and Justin Long and Anna Faris. It's like one of those. It's got Andy Milonakis. Is that
Andy Milonakis?
I got peas on my head, but don't take me off YouTube.
The guy from MTV. Yeah, the guy from MTV. Yeah, I think he's in it.
He's in it. There's a dude who was in Holes. One of the kids who was in Digging Holes with him. He played Andy Milonakis' best friend in that movie too.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And he's got bald head dude from Anchorman. Can't remember his face.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, it's got so many big actors in that.
Yeah, that's like one of those weird movies where it's like, it's a big ensemble and like it's all a bunch of actors that you know, but they're not really famous. Except for like Ryan Reynolds. Like, everyone knows who he is now.
But when was that movie made? Like 2003 maybe?
Yeah, like 2003. Anywhere between like 2003 to 2006.
Yeah.
It's like one of those movies. Yeah, that was a funny movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah, that was like one of those movies that came on late at night.
Yeah.
Like on
Comedy Central.
Yeah. And I was probably like 11 and I'm just like seeing a bush for the first time.
Mom would come downstairs. She's like, "Why are you watching this? Every word's bleeped out." It's like, Mom, it's funny.
Mom, calm down.
It's funny, Mom.
Let me watch the R-rated movie, Mom.
Alright, to be fair though, you did show me, I think, Aliens when I was like 4 or 5 or 6 maybe.
Oh yeah, I definitely did that. But that's not really that bad of a movie. That's just kind of like, you know, cool action horror movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. That's like one of those movies that stands the test of time.
I just remember, like, with some of those movies, like the scary ones in particular, I was just scared to shit by everything, dude. I remember just being under the blankets or, like, trapped in a sleeping bag and just being, like, listening to what the fuck's going on and just being like, oh my god, oh my God, Ripley, no.
But that's like one of the joys of being a kid is like watching
Yeah.
like some scary movie you're clearly not supposed to be watching. Like I have this dream. It's either a dream or it really happened. But like it's hard to tell the difference between. It's hard to tell if it was or it wasn't because I remember it so clearly. This was back when we lived in North Dakota, and I was a little kid, and I was walking down the stairs into the basement, and I on the TV. So mom and dad were watching TV. I don't think they knew I was there, but they were watching TV, and there was a scene where this dude was like in this fiery inferno, and he like kissed this woman, and then the woman turned into fire, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because it scared the shit out of me, and I started crying, and then I just remember they came up and they like put me in bed, and I don't remember if it was a dream or not. To this day, I still don't know. I haven't brought it up with mom or dad either. I'm not even sure if they remember. But if it was a dream, how the fuck would they remember? So.
Dude, they have a moment like that for every kid, because mine is, I remember walking downstairs, and mom was watching a show, and like, I made myself know that I was there, right? She knew I was there, and she's like, dang, you might not want to watch this, you might want to get out. And I was like, oh, what's happening? Because it was just like, I was interested because it looked like these two, like, maybe high schoolers, or people playing high schoolers, they're like, making out, probably about to get it on in this car, and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And then next minute, it's like the dude goes outside, and the girl's like looking out the window, and she's like, what's he doing? And the dude just gets like taken, like, and then she's like, ah! And then I can't remember if she ran away or like fell asleep or something, but like it instantly went to the scene in the morning where she like was by this tree. And first she found a hook next to her car door or something, like outside her car, like attached, like trying to get into the car, but it was locked, obviously. But
okay.
In the tree was her fucking boyfriend, just guts and all, or just torn to shit.
Oh,
and he was just like, ah. And then I was like, ah, I got the fuck out of there. I was like, no. She's like, I told you not to watch it. I was just like, I happened to step in on the most fucked scene of the movie.
That's gotta suck having kids and like you're an adult, because like when you're an adult, like you can handle that kind of stuff, like it's entertaining.
Right.
And then you got kids, and like your kids, of course, just want to like creep on every fucking thing you do.
It's just like, god damn it, now I emotionally scarred my kid.
Yeah, like I'm so mad. I get so easily like upset and frustrated with kids, but like at the same time I was a kid, so like I think about when I was a kid, and I'm like, okay, I can understand why kids do this shit. But, like, why did we do this shit? Like, why did we do it?
Curiosity.
Dude, curiosity, like, it's a blessing and it's a curse. It's led me to do awesome, fun things, and it's led me to do stupid, disappointing things. But, whatever.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have kids, Dan?
Dude, I want to. Yeah.
How many kids are you gonna have?
Probably, like, definitely not one, because that motherfucker is going to be a psychopath or something. Like, I feel like, no offense to all those, like, you know.
Oh, single.
Or just, like, one child, like, or whatever.
One child
It was
families.
just you, right? Whatever. You guys are kind of bitches. Not even bitches, like, assholes. Like,
Well, it's because
I feel like those kids become the most narcissists, you know?
narcissistic.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're like the one kid, you know? Like, no one else is like fighting for the spotlight. Like, they already got the whole spotlight on themselves. Like, they don't have to fight with brothers or sisters for attention. They get all the attention.
Ah.
Yeah. That's what kids do, you know? Like, I think that's why siblings fight each other, because it's all over attention and power. And like, we as kids, like, we're just a bunch of little monkeys.
But maybe you're not even aware you're doing that. Like, I feel like you definitely reach a point, like, I'll admit, in high school, I was just kind of a spiteful, vengeful motherfucker.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Deep.
Hell, I was just like really into myself when I was a high schooler. Like I just wanted to do myself. Like I was like, I'm gonna do whatever works for me, and then everybody else, whatever.
It's not necessarily a bad thing to have your own interest in mind, right?
Well, it's
Especially as you get older, you find like having that confidence and resolve in certain situations is like maybe because you had siblings or whatever, had a parent who was close to you, who you were able to talk to that stuff, it like helps you in the long run, you know? Like I see a lot of people nowadays and like just like I don't know, the way they kind of promote themselves, like it's not like they're bad people, but I think they're trying to play a game with like their own reality by just being a giant cock. Kind of like that Conor McGregor attitude when he first came on the scene. Awesome because you knew he was like a fully like into it sort of guy. Like he gave all his attention and focus to this one aspect that he wanted to improve his life upon, right? But at the same time, everybody like saw on the media side at least was like him talking shit to his opponents. That was like to have that sort of mindset when you're that dedicated to something, that's pretty crazy. Like he probably had a lot of times where he was asking himself, am I fucking crazy? Maybe after he smashed the fucking bus dolly, you know? Because he kind of did a whole 360. His whole attitude now is like really respectful. I think it's like hurting him in the long run because he doesn't have that same approach. So I don't think he's like bringing it as he used to. But now you see like people, I'm just gonna say it, I saw this press conference between Jake Paul and Ben Askren. They're about to do that fight.
Oh yeah.
That boxing fight. And it just seemed like, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, you pulled this off or whatever. But as I was watching, I was like, he's trying to do this like same approach, but it's just like it's too like forced and too mean, you know? Like there's a certain extent where you're not like hitting your opponent with a mental jab. You're kind of just showing you're like a very shallow person. And that's what I felt from it. It was like, dude, are you shallow as fuck, bro?
Well, you're playing the villain. What I was gonna say is a blessing and a curse because if you're really into yourself and you're into like doing one thing, right? Like if you're just into bettering yourself for the sake of bettering yourself and getting what you want, it's a blessing and a curse because it's like, okay, yeah, you have a lot of these like trash talkers who like, you know, they just pound people into the ground with their words and then they fight them and then they literally pound them into the ground, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, so it gives people like, you know, the impression is it okay to do this? You know, like it gives you like it just makes you think like it's like, okay, is this what success is? Like are the people who are most successful are these types of people? Because in life you're taught not really to be like that. Like in life in general, if you're raised in like, you know, a pretty decent household, you're raised to be humble and respectful and to figure things out with like, you know, patience and, you know, a calm demeanor, being able to talk to people and like a very like, you know, like in a way where you're like trying to avoid conflict. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to like yeah, you might encounter confrontation, but your purpose in life is not to fight that confrontation by beating it into the ground, but yet you have all these examples of people who trash talk and who like put people down and they fuck people over intentionally because they're trying to get their way in life. And it's like, in a way it's a blessing, but at the same time, like if you're not a true sociopath, or a psychopath, right? Then at a certain point you're gonna recognize, well, this isn't right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This isn't how you're supposed to treat people. But the moment that happens, right, a lot of the time people lose a lot of the power that they've acquired for themselves. So it's like, what's the best way to do it? You know what I mean? It's a tough question. Like I can't answer that myself because I haven't experienced it myself. But I can say like, you know, like there are moments where like if you really do get into like what you want and your self-interest and you really go on a roll with it, you know, like you just roll with that energy, you will accomplish a lot of things. But in the pursuit of doing that, you also push a lot of people to the side, and you attract a lot of people who are like yourself, so the competition just keeps getting stiffer and stiffer, and like, you know, you just gotta keep going to extremes just to, you know, fucking, you know, defend yourself from all these other people who are now aspiring to be like you. That's the crazy thing about it. But then it also is like, okay, look at Khabib though, right?
Right, dude. Look at
he's
Khabib.
like, he is a complete opposite of Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
In personality. Very religious, very dedicated, very humble person, very hardworking, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
And he might be arguably one of the, if not the greatest, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time.
I think just like what he's had to fight through to get to where he was and to get that like recognition finally, like that's a whole different, like that's like investing in something 10 years and getting like the biggest out of it, you know? Whereas like Conor was like that hype stock that just was like, yeah, it's still booming, but like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, I understand where you're going. Like you're comparing both of them. You're comparing both of them because they're both very different. So you're saying that like one of them is like, you know, they're playing the game long term, right? And then the other one's playing it short term, right? Like one person's all about just being aggressive as hell inside and outside the ring and just, you know, talking as much trash as possible and trying to fucking rile people up because that's a good way to get attention, right? Like now, that's the best way to get people's eyes on you now.
Yeah, like,
but then,
or my bad, keep
no,
going.
That's all good.
With like Khabib, there's no controversy really. Like he was well spoken. He said exactly how he felt, and like you can respect that because you can see like just the fire he's holding back sometimes just to be able to like relay or like parlay his legacy to like the youth and how fucking strong that is to be like him. Whereas with Conor, dude, there's like a lot of controversy involved in like what you're gonna remember. You're gonna probably remember him more from like fighting Floyd Mayweather and losing and throwing a dolly at the bus and then coming back and like changing his whole persona, and now he's, you know, gotten knocked out again. Where there's always like a huge storyline behind him. I feel like his legacy is just in so many like different places. Like Khabib, it's a storyline. There's a clear ending, and he left on his own terms, dude. Like he left after his father died, and his mother asked him not to do it, and like she couldn't watch him fight anymore, and like just for him to pull away at that period in time when he's already undefeated and he fought the who's who in that division, and like that's crazy, man. That's like something if you watched in a movie you'd have to take a few minutes to like reflect on that afterwards, right?
Or you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, you just wouldn't believe it.
You'd be like, this is it's too much.
Yeah.
But so what does the world need? Does the world need more Conor McGregors, or does it need more Khabibs?
It needs both. It needs both.
It needs both.
Why
do you say that?
It's the yin and yang, but like, it's never too late to like. With Khabib, it was like he knew who he was gonna be from the beginning, you know, and you see it now that he's like teaching. I think he's been in like 3 corners for UFC fights in the last like few weeks or whatever, probably even more, but just from what I've seen, and like he's cementing something that's gonna be so long term that like you're probably gonna see people from Dagestan just fucking people up, dude, just like absolutely fucking people up forever, because and then like you need Conor because like it draws attention, it puts like a microscope on it, and like it gets people sucked in quickly, and you kind of like see the people who really want it and see the people who like are just doing it for shits and giggles, you know.
So you're saying that like you need Conor McGregor because it gets the immediate attention, but then you need someone like Khabib because then that's gonna be
Real.
Man. That's like the legacy. Like that's someone. So you're saying like
that's like somebody who, or my bad. What were you saying?
Well, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying like in 100 years from now, people are gonna remember Khabib more than they remember Conor McGregor.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't want to disrespect him at all. I mean,
no disrespect. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the last thing we need is Conor McGregor to start
throwing
throwing dollies at our cars. But I mean, like, look, they're both great fighters, and I think that, like, you know, sometimes success goes to people's heads, and it's like, you know, I think you can only play the villain for so long. Like, I think eventually, you know, time does come to cash in the check, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that check is your body or it's your mind. And like you can only stay on the top for so long. You know what I mean? Like there will come a day where like a person who is great, if they keep pursuing whatever it is that they do, especially in sports, there will be a moment when they fail. You know what I mean? And you want to make sure that like when it comes to your legacy, people remember your accomplishments more than your failures. So even if you were great your whole entire career and then you ended your career on one failure, it's more than likely that people are going to remember that one failure more than your accomplishments. So you kind of want to go out at that time where you've sort of come into your own and you're in your prime. You know, I think that would be the best way to go. You don't want to go when you're just old and like you've had enough and people are beating you up. Like that would be rough.
Like, and no disrespect to anybody or anything, like mad respect actually, because like, first of all, like to do any of the stuff we're talking about, like this is like a purely like, I'm just saying it because this is like kind of what I see. I'm not saying like slight anybody or anything. Like I'm just saying like things that are coming to mind, and I hope they don't get taken the wrong way. Because that's the last thing I want. Because I hope both people's legacy goes on forever, right? Like, I'm not here to talk shit. It's like, it's purely like from my analytical mind wanting to say that, you know?
Yeah, you're just speaking in the moment.
Right.
You know, and like anybody who's speaking in the moment, you might say some stuff that like, you don't necessarily mean it that way, you know? So you just get clarification. And everybody says some shit that like, they don't mean sometimes. Like, you know, you might say some shit right now and then like, a week later or a year later, you're like, why the fuck did I say that? Yeah, like, I don't believe in that anymore. But that's kind of the problem with woke culture is, like, or just these people who condemn people, like...
So quick to shit on you.
Yeah, they're so quick to shit on you. Like, you know, like, they'll dig up shit that you did, like, 10 years ago, and then they'll ridicule you for that. And it's like, but that was a different person 10 years ago. Like, don't they understand that, like, you know, there are people who are racist, who are like racists, right? And then they became reformed, and now they fucking, you know, they're a pastor at a church or some shit. Or there was like some dude that was like a gangbanger, and now he like owns his own company and is like helping out the youth. Like, do you shit on that person because like 15 years ago they were a terrible person? No. If anything, you should look at them and you should be more inspired because it shows you what people are capable of doing. So for these people to just go back and just shit on fucking people, you know, it's like everybody has made mistakes, and part of the purpose of being a human being is to grow and learn. Like, you're not just born out of the womb.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, you're not just born out of the womb and like everything you do turns to gold.
I mean, come out with that Jesus robe and the light shining on you through the fucking...
Come out as a Jesus baby. You got the full beard. You got the full beard.
Your hands are open like this.
Your hands are open. Your RA waiting.
Your mom falls to her knees and bows to you as you pop out of her fucking...
You're born in a manger. You got 3 kings.
like totally switching feels here, but I just want to quote like this one person who does these meditations. I believe her name's Gail Foreman. And like one of these like truly like hit me in my head and heart and like soul kind of quotes. It's like, we are born one day, we will die in one day, we can change in one day, we can find love in one day, anything can happen in one day. Like, that's some woke shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like understand that, like people are gonna make mistakes. Instead of pushing down on them with a lot of bitterness or hostility, it's like, unless it's like, there are some things even to me that are unforgivable that maybe I won't have the easiest time figuring out why that happened. I think that's just life. Like, there's so much unknown, you just kind of, you gotta accept it, and you gotta be like, all right, as long as this person's willing to like be remorseful, you know, there, like I said, there's some things that I won't even forgive, but like, I think a lot of the things nowadays are forgivable. And don't forget, like, you being forgiving of someone else is like one of the most powerful things you can do. Because just letting go of some things that just don't like weigh in on your overall direction in life, like, don't let those weigh down on you. Because it's too easy to carry those burdens of like ill will. And it's easy to like feed those when really you could like be forgiving, man. Yeah. And I might sound like a fucking preachy bastard for saying that, but that's honestly how I feel about it. Is like,
no, you shouldn't feel that way at all. It's really well said. I think that a lot of people should take note of that. I hate to do this, but I need to pee so fucking bad.
Dude, he's got pee.
Can you, here, pretend the monkey's me for like a minute. I'll be right back.
I can entertain a crowd with a monkey. The monkey can wax on, and he can wax off. He can paint the fence, and he knows karate. You can hear him pissing in the background. We might need to edit this whole section out. You guys ever find inspirational pillow quotes? Put your comments, best inspirational pillow quotes. I hope we edit this out. He's got a lot of movies here. We could go through movies. Pirates of the Caribbean, that's one. That's one I remember. Rambo. I haven't watched those in a while. Wouldn't mind seeing Rambo jump out of a tree.
Alright. I'm back. What'd you talk with the monkey about?
Dude, I kind of brushed him aside after I made him do the wax on, wax off, paint the fence, and then I did like crazy karate pose, but I don't know, I kind of just did him wrong. I just threw him to the side. I should have just sat there and
oh man, don't do that.
Interviewed him, man. Damn.
You gotta be nice to the monkey.
Shit.
That's my monkey, Dan. Don't you show my monkey disrespect.
Yo, that sounds like some prison talk right there, bro. I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh man, you gotta love the monkey. That's why I have all these fucking plush toys around, you know? It just gives me nice, positive energy. Like, I got that Yoshi behind the camera.
I feel like it's good.
Got Dumbo up on that shelf.
Yeah, dude. I like it too. It's like good for like imagination. Just like kind of look at this and you're like able to connect it to like maybe something in your past, or maybe just like enjoying a moment with that freaking figure. You know?
As long as you're not brushing them to the side. Dude, it just makes me more of a compassionate person, because I got these things around me. I'm like, oh, you know, like maybe they, I don't know, That's stupid. Like, I'm the type of person I'm thinking, like, oh, they have feelings. They clearly don't, but,
Dude,
like...
you ever seen the movie, is it Small Soldiers or something?
Oh, yeah.
Toy Soldiers or something?
Yeah, that movie with the action figures.
I'm still convinced that shit comes to life, bro. I'll be
It's like
going
Toy
in,
Story.
and the crocodile head will just be moved, and I'm like, huh.
Oh, you have the crocodile head?
I have the crocodile head.
Dude, you know...
Do you want it back?
No, you can have that crocodile head. I'm just glad that someone has it, because I got it as a present from a classmate. It was a sad story about that, but me and that guy are not friends anymore, but that was probably one of the only gifts I've gotten from a classmate that's pretty memorable.
Oh,
So,
dude, I'll bring it back.
no. Keep it safe.
Keep it safe.
Keep it safe. Keep it locked away.
What is that from?
I don't know. It sounds like it's from a movie.
That is from a movie.
Oh, that's from Lord of the Rings, Gandalf.
Keep it secret.
Keep it secret.
Keep it safe.
Keep it safe. Dude, how fucking good was he as that actor?
Oh,
That
killed
actor
it.
was, yeah.
He killed it, man. He's the only redeeming quality about the last two Hobbit movies, too.
Yeah, those movies were really disappointing.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes to show, like, how important, like, source material is.
Which is a bummer, because the first one was kind of dope. The first Hobbit, like, it felt right. It was like, yeah, they're getting this story started. And then you get to the second one, and you're like, it has its moments. It's all right. But, like, I don't know how I'm really feeling about it. Then you watch the third one, and you're like, how fucking quick did they make this movie, dude? How
It all
fucking
looks
fast.
terrible. It looks terrible. Like, the original trilogy, like, they have, everybody's in prosthetics, and they're using, like, practical effects when they can.
Right.
And it looks really cool. And the weird thing is that the computer graphics back in those movies look way better than the computer graphics in the other movies, which makes no fucking sense because the other movies are newer.
It's like they went with a more, like, animated feel because of the time, and I'm like, this shit, fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck off.
That's all you have to say. Well, it's interesting because, like, you have 3 books, right? So it's really easy to make, especially if you have 3 really great books. It's really easy to make great movies out of them. But then you have 1 book, and then you try and make 3 movies out of that 1 book.
Right.
And it just doesn't work out, you know? Harry Potter did it with, like, the last movie, right? And it was okay, but some people don't like the first movie that much. The first part, because it drags.
Yeah, they should have showed Fred die, dude. I'm still mad about that shit. They're just like, oh, we'll just have this really dramatic scene where somebody's walking through it all, like in every single goddamn movie ever. Oh, and the hero's realizing, what have I done? I've got my friends killed. Oh, I've really fucked up. But then he saves the day still, and he's not fucking dead. No. You want to make a real movie? Braveheart.
Braveheart's a real movie.
He just sends everybody to battle, and then he dies screaming freedom as they're ripping his gonads out, bro.
That was a good movie.
Shout out Mel Gibson.
Shout out Mel Gibson. Yeah. No, that's like the complaint they have about Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is like, up until the 6th season, they were all based off of these books. And this just kind of goes to show how lazy the actual author of the books is. He wrote the first book in 1996, I believe, and then the second book in 1998. The third book comes out in like 2000, 2001. Fourth book comes out in 2005, and then the 5th book comes out 2011, right? Since 2011, he has not finished his story. He's had 10 years to make 1 fucking book, and he hasn't done it. The show itself started in 2011. It ended 2019. He had fucking time to finish his books. He just didn't do it. And that's why people hate the last season. It's because, first off, it's not very well written. But it was like one of those shows where it was like the first 5 seasons are pretty accurate towards the books, and they're really fucking good. 6th season is really good too, but you can see like where like it starts to differ from the prior seasons because it's surprising, but it's like it's different. Like there's a lot of payoff. Like it feels like it's like fanfare. Like they're just doing it for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all your heroes are like saving the day, and you know, good shit actually happens to the good characters. Because that was one of the catches on the show was like, you could have a really good character, and then by the end of the season, they've killed him off. Or it was a main character, and you really liked them, and then they died. And like the bad people are up in their castle, like, the kingdom is ours, some shit like that. But yeah, but then the last 3 seasons, they don't have any books to go off of, and it just goes in a really weird direction. Like it's not bad. I still like the show. Like it's one of my favorite shows of all time. I know you haven't watched it.
No.
But you should.
I should.
You should. If you like Lord of the Rings, you would like Game of Thrones.
I'm just afraid it'll consume my whole life.
It will. It'll consume all your free time. But we watched Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh yeah, so that was good, man. That was good shit.
That was a good movie. That was really like compare it to like the one that came out in theaters.
Bullshit.
Yeah, night and day difference.
I'm sorry, but fuck that.
Fuck the one that came out in theaters.
God damn it, dude. Oh,
so bad.
Oh, speaking of rushed.
That movie was all the rush. That movie was the definition of rush.
It's just like I feel like you're more of a comic book person, right? Would you prefer a longer movie with a storyline that you can like really just bed yourself into, but also like, you know, be able to pause it, kind of go do your thing, make some snacks or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eat some food, maybe come back. Like you would prefer that over something that just seems put out there and rushed, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's like, you know, got like a very, you know, has any interest in those kind of mediums, like anyone who's like a comic book fan, or anyone that just appreciates good cinema in general, doesn't want fucking action scene after action scene without any exposition, plot, or character development. Most people are not that stupid. And I think that's the problem with studios is they just expect people to like want like the poppy, candy, you know, eye candy shit.
Right.
But people aren't that stupid. Like that's why TV is really popular because they take most really good television shows that are popular take their time telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And like
true.
That's where people have fucked up with movies is like we don't take time anymore. No. You know, like it's all about sequels and prequels and like it's never just about one self-contained story.
And in this case, a delequel.
A delequel, yeah.
They just said, fuck that, what we put out there. We're going to put out a whole nother thing.
It was good. I really liked it.
It was really good.
I thought it was a really good movie. Even though it's 4 hours long and my butt fell asleep, like, I would have rather seen that in the theaters. Plus, the action was way better.
Way better.
I could actually relate to the characters. Like, I hated Batman. I hated The Flash. I didn't like Cyborg. I didn't like Aquaman. I didn't like Wonder Woman. I didn't like Superman. Did I already say Superman?
I don't think so. I think you just named them all.
I didn't like the villain. Like, I hated everything about the Justice League I saw. I was like, this is a piece of shit. And then I saw the one that came out. Yeah, it's 4 fucking hours long. But it's like, give trust to your directors.
Right.
Like, they know what they're doing. If you're hiring the right people, they know what they're doing. That's why you hire them. So for you to, like, spit in the face of your directors and say, fuck you, no, I know what's good. Because I'm a producer or some shit. It's like, you don't make creative decisions. Like, you just fund this shit. And then you get your greasy paws on it and try and fuck it up. Or you throw in some shit that just doesn't work. And you do it off of, like, data and analytics. And you think about fucking commercials and that kind of shit and product placement. It's like, no. People want a good fucking story. And that's why the top-rated movie of all time, to this day, since the 70s, is still The Godfather. You go on IMDb.com. Everybody thinks The Godfather or The Shawshank Redemption, sometimes they flip, are the best movies on IMDb.
Dude,
the best.
The Godfather hits you somewhere.
It does. It hits you in your soul.
Right? Like your long term, like, oh man, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Right?
Yeah.
People want cinema. And nowadays we think cinema is like all just visual effects and yeah, you know, we think that's what we think cinema is, but it's, or at least that's what these people who make movies think cinema is, but it's not. Like, yeah, we want to see the action. We want to see all that shit. Like, no one would watch Justice League if it was just 5 characters talking to each other. Like, we want the action, granted. But we also want to know these characters, right?
Right.
We want to know them. Like, we want to know what they're about.
That's why we give our time to a movie, because, like, we kind of want to invest ourselves in somebody else's, like, little made-up world they made. And maybe, like, it's tied to, like, a book or something, and you already have, like, a connection there, and then you want to see how it would be visually through somebody else's eyes, you know? Like,
you want to live vicariously.
In a way, yeah. Because
television and cinema and all that stuff is a form of escape. So you want to escape into something.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know what you're escaping into. Like the Justice League that came out in theaters, I was just like, I can't escape into this. Like, I hate all these characters. They're all goofy and stupid, and it's like funny, and the fucking villain looks like a goat farmer.
Yeah, that was
like,
fucking weird.
There's
dude.
Nothing cool about that. Unless you were like a
Christ.
5-year-old that didn't see Batman versus Superman or Man of Steel.
And you're not even fucking watching the movie at that, but you're just playing with your little toy, and you're like seeing something on screen, you're like, and then you see somebody else do something on screen, you're like, yeah, you're just like, yeah.
But a lot of these people who watch comic book movies nowadays are also adults and, you know, young people, like young adults and older teenagers. Like, they're not playing with toys. Like, this is like our you know, it's like our way of escaping, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not wrong. There's nothing wrong about that.
People with regular jobs, you know?
Yeah, like, who wouldn't want to be Batman a little bit? And at the same time, why not give him a little depth? Like, make him a complex character, you know? Make him relatable. Like, he's going through struggles, you know?
Right.
Like, that was a big problem people had with, like, the Zack Snyder movies when they first came out, was they were like, oh, they're deconstructing the characters, and they're making Batman an asshole, and Superman sucks, and it's like, okay, yeah, I get that. But, like, also, isn't that just an interesting perspective, though? Like, isn't it interesting to take characters and deconstruct them and make them seem human?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel it, yeah.
Yeah, like, if Superman was an actual person on this planet right now, do you think people would be cool with him?
No, they'd be fucking destroying him, dude.
They'd be roasting him on Twitter. They'd be like, this fucking alt-right dude coming in there saving the day. Who does he think he is? He thinks he's better than me? Huh? Whatever.
It's like Hancock, dude.
Yeah, it'd be like Hancock or some shit. And who knows what a actual Superman would be like. Like, would he actually be a patriotic figure? Or would he be kind of a jackass? Like, you know? It's just interesting to, like, make complex characters, because if you just make him cookie cutter and you just make him a Boy Scout, like, I'm gonna come in and save the day, I'm Superman.
This ain't 80s sitcoms.
Yeah, this isn't 80s sitcoms. This is big boy shit.
Yeah, we want to see some make me think about what's good and what's bad, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, do you ever get respect as the good guy? Because it's like,
yeah,
kind of tying this all together back to, like the beginning of, like, Khabib and Connor's career, right? It's like, Khabib's like this dude from Dagestan beating all these motherfuckers, Sambo world champion, dude, just doing all this crazy shit. And Connor, here he comes out of nowhere, fucking Dublin, Ireland, fucking coming out of the works and fucking, oh, I have a cool accent and I walk with the billionaire strut, you know, fucking, it was interesting. Everything's interesting, dude. And then fucking, oh, where was I going with this? God damn it. I don't know, Ben. I get too hyped, bro. I get too hyped.
Get caught up in the emotion of it all.
Yeah, dude. Damn it.
It's okay.
I felt like it was gonna tie together so well.
That's
if anybody out there knows where I was going, tell me where I went wrong.
Comment in the YouTube
Where
comments.
did Dan go wrong?
Where
This
did
could be
Dan
a
go
segment. Where
Poll.
did Dan lose his shit?
It's okay. These are the early days of podcasts for us, so you know.
Don't glorify drugs.
Don't glorify drugs. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag love your mom.
Love your mom. Yeah, you know.
Not in a weird way. Don't be fucking gross.
You had to go there. This isn't like your stepmom, like porno, you know, like the dad went away, your dad went away, and now your stepmom's hanging out. Your stepdad's just such a jerk to me. I can help you, stepmom.
Oh my god. That's good, dude. That's good.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
I think this is a good point to call it good.
You think?
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
come back with some more interesting shit next time.
Don't want to give it all away. In
No.
one.
No, you gotta give them little pieces.
Yeah, you guys
Little
need
pieces.
more. Need more.
Yeah, we'll give you a little taste of these legs. Give them a little taste of these legs. You'll see these legs again. I promise you.
You want that lean meat, bro?
The lean meat. Look at these thighs.
He might be able to squat and run a marathon.
I can do both. All right, sir. Very good podcast. Nice
As
to see
always.
you again.
Yeah, good to see
Let's
you.
wrap this thing up.